So I titled this video Interview Outtakes because in my interviews I made a rather large mistake. So I know a lot of you guys are busy preparing for interviews right now, so I thought I'd tell you a bit about my experience last year. I was given some preparation time before my interview, and in this envelope was an A3 sheet which had an extract from a book on it, and there were also 4 pages of musical score to analyse, and a sheet from the tutors which just had some kind of like prompt questions like, can you summarise this extract? Can you think about certain arguments within it? And for the score I was asked to look specifically at cadences. So I looked at the score and then I went through it and I analysed it as best I could. And then I went on to the extract of the book. So it was an A3 sheet, but because it was an extract from a book, only like the top A5 corner had something photocopied on it. And I was really confused because it started halfway through a sentence, halfway through a paragraph, talking about Mr. Tasnini's performance. And I had absolutely no idea who Mr. Tasnini was or what on earth he was performing. So I went through it still really confused, but I thought, it's Oxford, they want to see you think outside the box, get things out of context. So still quite confused. After my 25 minutes of preparation time, I was taken to my interview, and there were 3 interviewers and they're all really, really lovely. And they said, to begin with, we're going to talk about the extract from the book. The interviewer asked me to summarise the extract, asked me for my commentary on certain areas, and we were talking about it for 10 minutes and I thought it was going quite well. Despite the fact I was still very confused about what this extract was exactly on about. And then at the end of the 10 minutes she said, so final question, could you please refer specifically to the last paragraph at the bottom of page 1? Which is when I went incredibly red, looked over at her copy and had to say, I'm really sorry, I didn't realise it was double-sided. So yeah, turns out me thinking that it started halfway through a sentence, halfway through a paragraph, was not quite correct, as I turned over the sheet and realised there were 4 previous pages of the chapter on the other side, which explained who Mr. Tasnini was and what on earth he was performing. So as you can imagine, I felt pretty embarrassed at this point, but all my interviewers were absolutely lovely about it. They just laughed and they asked me, oh well, if you just want to read that paragraph now and we can help you through it, take as much time as you need, it's absolutely fine. So then I read through that paragraph, realised it contradicted my argument, and then reverted on what I had previously said. But they definitely helped me through it and they were so lovely about it. And it's important to note that these things didn't just happen to me. As you can see, I talked to my friend VJ. VJ, what happened in your interview?
Well, sat me down on his couch right next to a roaring fire. So like a few minutes into the interview I thought, oh, I'm a bit too hot, so I asked if I could take my jumper off. Obviously they said yes. So I went to take it off, I pulled my jumper up and both my t-shirt and my jumper came up. So I couldn't see anything, my jumper and my t-shirt were above my head, completely bare chest in front of the 2 tutors. And yeah, I never found out whether they were laughing or what, because I couldn't see.
Equally, I talked to some of the Oxvloggers from previous years. So I talked to Miriam from last year, and she told me about how she came out of her interview and realised everything she had said about the poem was completely wrong, but she's still here. I talked to Zanny from about 2013, I think, and she told me about how her interviewer fell asleep in her interview, but she is still here. So these things can all happen, and it's really important that you guys prepare, and I know that it can be stressful, but it's just important not to worry if everything goes seemingly wrong at the time, because it happens to a lot of us, and interviewers realise that you're nervous, and they're not particularly bothered about stupid mistakes, as you can see. So massive good luck for your interviews in a couple of weeks' time. I'll be helping here at Hughes, so it'd be really nice to see some of you in person perhaps. And yeah, just good luck.